Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
What is up, Mad Mob? We're back at it. Back at it with the questions. The usual. I told you we're going question heavy. Trade deadline's coming in hot and heavy. So we're here to help. Podcast for the people. Gentlemen.
Podcast for the people.
How'd y'all do this week?
I took a whooping, honestly. I lost in many leagues. I think I went like 3-5, and I lost in 3 of the ones that I care most about. But I also got a win in one of the ones I care most about. I have about 4 leagues out of the 8 that I'm really just emotionally invested in. Those are the ones I want to win more than any others. Everyone's got leagues like that, right? No matter how many you play, you care more about some than others. And I went like 1-3 in the leagues that I really care about this week. So it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Same. 1-3 in the non-rebuilding leagues.
Yeah, I went against Joe Mixon in a league that I wanted to win this week after a rule fiasco that I was in the middle of.
Oh, that's
Let's talk
right.
about that. Let's talk about that, Wayne.
What am I in the wrong there, Beggs?
I defended you.
You did.
I thought that what you did was the right way, right? You went to the league settings. You played by the league rules. And
explain it for the people.
I'm sure what you're going to say is a lot more important, so I'll just shut up here.
No, explain it for the people. You're like before you go into this.
Okay.
You want to explain it, or you want me to?
I'm just going to be quiet. You guys take this episode over, and I'll sit here and
go ahead, Beggs. The floor is yours, my guy.
No, you guys go ahead. He had a player.
So what?
I knew it was coming. Going. Did you hear my staccatoed way of talking there? It was coming. Wayne had a guy with the out designation in our ESPN league. It's a redraft league. Well, Wayne is able to slot the guy with the out designation in an IR spot. According to ESPN league rules, that's how you do it. So he did it. To me, it's of no concern. It's no big deal. He's playing by the rules. It's the commissioner's job to set the league rules in accordance with the league votes, period. It's just that simple. Second of all, the other thing that really bothers me is who cares? Why are people looking at everybody else's rosters? Just set your lineup, maybe look at the guy you're playing against, and be done with it. Who's browsing the entire league's lineups before the winter clock starts?
There's guys out there.
I know. I think I'm in the minority. Like, let him put the guy on the IR. He's hurt. He's going to be out for an extended amount of time. It's like a pseudo IR. It's okay. I don't know, Wayne. I thought you were right.
It's if you look up. This is an ESPN league. If you look up ESPN rules for IR spots, ESPN clearly states players with IR and out designations can be moved to the IR spot. The issue that came up was, and there's some old heads in this, they're stuck in their ways. Like I finally got them to, we finally changed off of standard scoring just a couple of years ago. And this is our very first year with IR spots. And it's only one. So these guys are old heads, don't really understand it. Well, that's not my fault. So when we took the league vote, the commissioner worded it. So we're going to take a vote on our traditional IR spot. Period. Players with the IR designation. Now, just to be clear, those are 2 different statements. A traditional IR spot allows for out designations per the ESPN rules, and then he went on to say players with the IR designation only. Those are 2 totally different things. So I just voted yes, I want an IR spot, and then when it came down to it, I have Mike Williams, he's out. I had 4 buys this week, there's only 5 bench players. So I thought, okay, I'll see what the league settings are, because I know he said both. He said 2 different things. He said both. We said yes. So let me just see how he set up the league. He set up the league as traditional. So I moved the guy into IR, and it caused the biggest, just the most wadded up panties from all these people because he set it up wrong. And I ultimately ended up having to drop a player. And he was telling me to let it go. I said, what am I letting go? I followed the rules. You set the league up wrong. What do I got to let go?
It's 100% on the commissioner. At that point, commissioner's got to bite the bullet and say, I said it wrong. Now everybody can use this if they want to and go on with it and be done with it. Who was the player, Wayne, just so everybody knows?
Mike Williams.
Okay, exactly. Mike Williams, who may as well be on IR designation, right? He's going to be out for an extended amount of time.
Yep.
It's not like Wayne's putting, say, Brandon Cooks on the IR, right? Like a guy's going to miss probably one game. He's out for a month. Settle down. So I'm sorry, Wayne. That was annoying.
And it's annoying because he set the rules up wrong, and I ultimately ended up having to drop a player, and he was like, well, we can take a vote on that next year. Like, no, like you made the rules wrong, and I used the rules based on how you made them. Yes, you said in the early preseason players with only the IR designation, but you also said traditional IR spot. Two different things. If you don't understand the difference, why is that my fault?
It's not.
I also firmly believe in not changing the rules mid-season ever. Never ever.
You shouldn't.
No, I'm firmly like, in that instance he messed up, so it should have been kept for the rest of the year and then changed next year, whether it be by the dictatorship of the commissioner or take a vote. I always take votes in all the leagues that I'm ever a commissioner in, without voting myself. So there's an odd number of managers, fantasy managers, to sway it one way or another. And you should never change mid-season. You're screwing someone over one way or another with it. Just keep it the way it is and change it at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I'm not going to use any names or anything because I love all these guys in this league. All great guys. Like my dad's in this league, seniors in this league, Begley's dad. I've been in the league with these guys for a long time. Love them all. Played in basketball leagues with some of these guys. That was just so annoying to deal with. And like a guy that is never invited to the podcast was like, it's just I'm back in the commissioner. I'll just call him commissioner again. Don't want to use it because I love all these guys. It's just BS that you'd rake the commissioner over the coals, like somebody that's doing this thing for free. Like I said, first off, does a commissioner ever get paid in a fantasy league? Second, I'll take it over. Like if it's that big of a deal, like Goni, how many leagues are you commissioner in that I've raked you over the coals?
A whole lot, man. Probably every one I've ever had.
Yeah, if the commissioner's doing something wrong, I'm gonna let you know about it. Would it just because he's the commissioner and does something wrong, I gotta just take it on the chin? No. If you don't like that, then give up your commissioner spot. Somebody else will do it. I'll do it. I don't care.
You didn't even rake him over the coal. You
did.
Presented your argument in such a way, that I thought was a good way of presenting the argument. And I think he realized that he may have messed up and he couldn't back down. But Goni and I talked about this. Just over-regulation is the worst thing in a fantasy league.
Facts.
Like, just let people play fantasy football, dude. Like, chill.
He hit me with them 4 words, boy. He said, dude, let it go. I about drove to his house. I was so mad. You messed up. You let it go. What do you mean me let it go? It's just annoying because I ultimately had to drop the player. But anyways, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole any further. Just stick Goni's card over. Goni messed up some settings in one of our leagues this year and just found out a couple weeks ago. Did he go and change them? No, because that's what the settings were preseason. That's what everybody's been playing with. We'll change it at the end of the season. A commissioner can make mistakes, and it's okay that a commissioner makes mistakes. You can't just change it mid-season, though, and that's the issue. Goni owned up to his mistake. I messed this setting up. Hey, everybody, just in case you weren't already aware, this is the setting that I messed up. My bad. I'll change it next year.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it should be done. But anyways, quick recap on the CTFL. Pretty good week out of Goni with Justin Fields. Better week by me. Terrible week by Begley. Goni with 94.22, myself with 101.06, Beggs with 55.38, putting the total to 630.74 for Goni, 702.4 for Begley, and 739.24 for myself. Begley still with an insurmountable lead, 12-5 in the bad team draft with the Giants on a bye and the Jets beating the Bills. I'm confused. Goni taking back over the second place spot with wins out of both his teams, the Jags and the Lions, at 5-12. Myself in last. I took 2 L's. This is the second week in a row at 5-13. This is a point in time where I'm dying for bye weeks to catch up. So I can have a bye week while Goni's teams are taking L's.
Yeah. Because the New York teams are never going to lose again, apparently, as long as Beggs is at the helm.
The Mecca.
Yes. Jets, boys.
DFS, another barn burner, an absolute barn burner this week. But a low-scoring barn burner. Last week, we scored in the 180s. This week, we went ahead and took the 1 off.
Oh, man. Half.
Heartbreaking for Begley. We all scored within 2 points of each other. Goni taking home the +1 this week. Me standing pat at 0. And Beggs, for a second straight week, dropping a point. Getting relegated.
And Beggs, for those of you Mad Mob, we always give each other a lot of crap all the time. I texted Beggs and Wayne at the end of the Green Bay Packers game because I'm trying to figure out. We had a lot of guys that we were on each of our teams that canceled each other out, and so I'm looking, and Beggs had an opportunity with Aaron Rodgers coming down on his last drive. If he scored a touchdown, Beggs goes from last place into first place. And it changes the whole complexion of the game right there. Beggs missed out by 1.56 points. That was the difference between he and I. I beat Wayne by 0.9 this week. So it was a barn burner. It was low scoring. It was ugly. But yes.
I missed it by one Aaron Rodgers helmet throw, huh?
That's it, man. That's it.
What a turd, dude. What a turd. Aaron Rodgers, you suck. You're terrible. He was on the half-yard line twice and threw in. You're trash, bro.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it because you remember, if you all listened to last episode, we were telling our DFS lineups. I got raked over the coals for taking the Detroit Lions defense, who ended up being one of my highest scorers against Aaron Rodgers. And I told y'all, I'm not betting on the Detroit Lions defense. I think the Packers offense sucks.
Nah, you said I ran out of money. That's why.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you mean? As far as my lower echelon of choices, I picked the Detroit Lions.
I think that was the lowest of echelons.
No, I could have gone
worse. That wasn't the cheapest DFS team in all of DFS last week.
No.
Who was cheaper?
No one was cheaper. They were 3,200. There ain't no way anyone was cheaper.
I'm going to have to prove you wrong, dude. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that I got to take the time to prove you wrong.
I don't think you can because I don't know how you go back.
Was Atlanta cheaper going?
It's frustrating.
I don't know.
That I got to go in here and figure out how to prove you wrong.
I don't know where he's going to find it at.
Well, let's just use some common sense here, right?
Right.
Washington probably would have been cheap. Carolina was cheap, but they were more expensive than the Lions. I learned that the hard way. I spent more money to get a worse team.
Yeah.
The Bears would have been dirt cheap, bro. Nobody's picking the Bears.
I just don't remember what it was. That's all it is just off of memory.
Bears or Titans? Titans got to be cheaper, right? Bears too?
Probably, but 3,200 is about as cheap as it gets.
Oh yeah, that's bottom 3, no doubt.
Yeah. So I don't know.
While he looks that up, I might go ahead and start the questions.
Hey man, what do you have?
While he's doing some research.
Chicago Bears were the cheapest.
At what?
I don't know. It just says the Bears defense. The Dolphins are on the road against the Chicago Bears. The Bears offense is definitely.
There's no way to find it. There's no way to find it.
It's telling me the Dolphins, but that's like the Dolphins were 3,600 against the Bears.
Yeah, I had the Dolphins. It's not. There's no way to find it. It's gone. It's lost.
I'm gonna find it.
You're not. You have to go through every single person that played. That's the only way you're going to find it. Go through every single person that played and then click their defense to see how much they spent on it. Thanks. We're doing the show without Wayne, apparently.
Sports and Stuff 43 gone. It's a 12-team Superflex. Half-point PPR. Half-point PPR. He's 3-6. Claypool, Khalil Herbert, and Gerald Everett. He's giving away. And he's getting Hollywood Brown and Cordero Patterson.
Oh, man. I liked it when he said Hollywood, but I don't like Cordero Patterson for the future.
He lists his entire lineup, so I'm going to give you just some high-level things.
Okay.
At running back, he's got Ramondre and Jeff Wilson of note, and that is it.
Gross.
Receiver, he's got T. Higgins, Juju Ayuk Pickens, Jameson Williams.
So it's rough. It sounds like he's in a rebuild right now anyways. So,
He's got Mahomes, Dak, and Lance, and Pitts. So he invested in QB and tight end.
okay. And all right, so one more time. Who is he giving away and who's he getting?
Giving away Claypool, Khalil Herbert, and Gerald Everett. Getting Hollywood and Cordero Patterson.
I would probably do it. I would try and pivot off of Patterson if I can, if the other, manager would let me do that. But it sounds like Hollywood is the crown jewel of it. I think Herbert has a chance to be the starter next year for the Bears. Montgomery's in a contract year this year. He hasn't been re-signed. I'm pretty sure they're just content to let him walk. But it's still a big if. Hollywood is going to be good. We've seen that he can be good in that offense with Kyler Murray. Yeah, and Hopkins is only getting older, man. So yeah. I would take that, and I would try and get someone younger than Patterson.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cheap price to pay for Hollywood, man. I mean, but I'm high on him. I'm higher on him than most. I mean, Claypool as a dynasty prospect. I mean, he doesn't really excite me too much. You?
Yeah. No. Plus, I don't like the prospect of having two Bears on the team also with Herbert and Claypool.
Yeah, Gerald Everett. Maybe he's a long-term guy in San Diego. I doubt it. I mean, they've drafted a tight end every year for the last 3 years. Yeah. I don't think he's a long-term guy. And Herbert's the jewel. I think Hollywood's got more upside.
Yep.
CPAT's a 1-year loaner, probably. Tack Wash says he feels like this is a ridiculously easy smash accept. He's getting Jonathan Taylor and Pickens. He's giving up Ramondre, Ridley, and Kadarius Toney. Jonathan Taylor and Pickens for Ramondre, Ridley, and Toney. He gets Taylor and Pickens. He's sending away Ramondre, Ridley, and Toney.
I don't think I would call it a super smash accept at this point in the season, but I can understand the excitement for Jonathan Taylor.
I do it. I think Pickens is going to be a stud.
I think he's going to be a stud too. I think Claypool getting out of there benefits him more than it benefits Deontay Johnson, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I don't think Toney and Ridley are going to be much. And I don't know. You look at past Patriot running backs. Damian Harris was an RB1 last year.
But he did it off the back of like 15 touchdowns.
I know, but now what's he done this year? It scares me. Longevity in the Patriots' backfield just terrifies me.
I'm curious. What you said you're not a fan of Ridley. Do you not like the move to Jacksonville?
No, I don't like Ridley. Let's be honest. I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't great, but last time he played, first off, there's going to be ring rust. He hasn't played in years. Then you look at it, he was playing with the Falcons Matt Ryan, the good Matt Ryan. He's going to a much worse quarterback since the last one he played with. And he's older. I mean, it just let's look at it. Ridley and Tony or Pickens. Who would you rather have? Let's take the running backs out of this. Between Tony and Ridley, would you accept a trade right now if you had Tony and Ridley and somebody sent you Pickens for both of them? You'd smash accept, right?
Depending on where my roster is at, I think Ridley's got a really strong 2-year window. I think Pickens has a better 7-year window, no doubt. I like Ridley, man. I mean, he's 27, right? But he came in the league as like a 24-year-old. He's really old. So he's just now coming off his rookie deal. He's a stud, bro. He's proven it. Pickens, yeah, he looks good. I think he's going to be good too. I'm with you. But Ridley's got a wide receiver 1 under his belt.
Pickens is...
I mean, that's fair. That's definitely fair. It depends on your roster construction. I mean, Pickens looks good. Honestly, though, man, I don't know. I'd rather have Ramondre, I think, for the rest of the season over Jonathan Taylor.
This year, for sure, 100%. I just gotta believe that he figures it out because he's still young. Frank Reich is out.
It's not even him figuring it out. It's their team sucks. Their team sucks. I mean, so you have to believe in the GM and the coach making the right moves to make this team better because they need quarterbacks.
Buddy, it's Jeff Saturday now, boy.
Jeff Saturday. Right.
Jeff Saturday.
Out of here.
I like Jeff Saturday. I don't know.
The only coaching experience he's got is a high school team, though. Does that make you a little nervous?
Nah, man. It's Jeff Saturday.
It's Jeff freaking Saturday.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm with, and I think we're all on the same page. We take the Taylor and Pickens side. It's interesting though. It's not as easy of a smash as you thought it. We thought it might be maybe between us all for thinking it. So, edge of the wall.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Bears is the cheapest at $3,000. Falcons was the second cheapest at $3,100. You can look it up for future reference by going to scores and then clicking on our league and then going to leaders and filtering by the position.
So pretty much almost exactly how I said you would, except you found a smart way to do it.
Yes, I was able to filter by solely the defenses.
Very nice, very nice. All right, touche. Congratulations.
Go and feel free to look up OneNote, write that in there. Edge of the wall, 12-team Superflex, tight end premium. Wayne, he's deep at receiver, thin at running back, and he's in a win now mode. Get Dalvin Cook and Amari Cooper. Give Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson, Laviska Shenault, Trey McBride.
Yes.
23-1, 23-2.
Yep, send it. Sounded like you were just sending a bunch of duty turds for Dalvin Cook.
Hollywood Brown is no duty turd. I like John Dotson. I disagree with you on that. The Laviska and Trey McBride, nah. Although it is a tight end premium, so McBride's got value.
Dalvin Cook, Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's good. Let's not forget Deshaun Watson coming in hot, going to be even better. Hollywood, we haven't seen him while DeAndre Hopkins is playing there and garnering all the number one looks. Hollywood Brown's stock dropped since the last time we've seen him. Amari Cooper's stock is about to go up, and the man needs a running back. Dalvin Cook, phenomenal. Win now.
The way I look at this, Hollywood Brown or Amari Cooper, Goni?
Oof.
Why is that how you look at it? He's getting Dalvin Cook.
Hang on. Let me get there. Hang on.
That's kind of not the proper question to ask because if we're in win now mode, then the answer is Amari Cooper.
No doubt. But I'm asking you, Hollywood Brown or Amari Cooper? I'm just play along with me.
Long term? Hollywood Brown for sure.
For the rest of this year.
That's what I'm saying. He's in win now mode. He wants to win now. So I understand that, but it just seems like the picks kind of make it a little. That's what makes it more difficult. So I'm saying I wouldn't do it, But if you feel like the rest of your team this is the move that puts you over the top and you are very confident that you're going to win a championship with this addition of Dalvin Cook, who is a great target to go after, by the way, go for it. Go for it. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't do it unless I'm super confident.
Goni Law, does this put you in, without a doubt, you're looking at your team and it's a top 3 team in the league with Dalvin Cook and Amari Cooper instead of everybody you're sending?
This to me seems like a little bit of you're stripping yourself down a little too much. You're going all in, which is fine. You're shoving your chips in, but you still want to compete. The years after. Is Dalvin Cook going to give you much after this year? I feel like that's I'd rather target somebody who's going to give me a couple years of production.
I think Dalvin Cook he'll show out again next year. Honestly, I think he'll be another great running back again. He's under contract, I think, for at least 3 more. I'm not going to say he's going to be productive for that whole time. I know he's going to be 27 or 28 next year, which is a little older, but he gets great usage. He can catch out of the backfield. He's still going to have Cousins. So, I mean, he's got all the right things kind of going for him to be productive. So I don't think that's necessarily like a one and done that you're getting out of Dalvin Cook. Jahan Dotson, I mean, Terry McLaurin is kind of boom or bust as the one there for the most part. So it's hard for Taylor Heineke or anyone else.
Curtis Samuel still playing good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's hard for any of those receivers to really stay relevant with the revolving door of quarterbacks that they have. I mean, they tried Heineke out last year. It didn't work out. They got Carson Wentz this year. He wasn't very good. He started off hot, but he's just plain not good. And he's hurt. And, I mean, we got Heineke again. It's just the talent is there at the wide receiver position for Dotson, but the quarterback isn't there to get it to him. Laviska Shenault is practically nothing to me. And then the first and the second is where I'm like, that's probably what makes me not want to do it.
A side note, and this can either be an extreme negative or you can see it as kind of a positive. I don't think you can see it as a clear-cut positive. It was mentioned that whenever the Commanders were marketing next year's season tickets, it was with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, I heard that.
So
the only player. He was the only player that was like on the board or the jumbotron.
I'm not like, yes, finally we're getting the same quarterback next year that we had this year if it's Heineke. So I mean,
where I was going with my questioning is, don't you guys feel like Hollywood Brown and Dotson for Dalvin is pretty fair value in a dynasty? The guy giving away Dalvin's obviously not competing this year.
No, if somebody offered me Hollywood and Dotson for Dalvin, I'd laugh in their face.
If you're not competing, though, I mean, Hollywood's 25 years old.
I wouldn't want Dotson. Hollywood's not the problem in that one.
I'd laugh in their face.
I agree with you on Hollywood, but I would want something besides Dotson.
That may be it. I guess the point I'm trying to make is it feels like it's a little too much for me. I don't know why. I've got this feeling in my gut. It's saying it's just a little too much. I like Dotson, man. He's got first-round draft capital. That means a lot to me. The Commanders knew what they had on the roster when they drafted Jahan.
It's fair.
I feel like the Commanders though are just trying to make up for poor quarterback play by going out and getting a lot of receivers. Hence the Curtis Samuel move. They got Logan Thomas. They're just trying, I feel like, to get a lot of offensive weapons.
Yeah, they got Brian Robinson.
Then they got Brian Robinson, J.D. McKissick. I feel like they're trying to put so many weapons around a bad quarterback to make the bad quarterback look less bad, which is, I guess, kind of smart because I love Ron Rivera. I guess it's kind of smart if you can't lock down the quarterback position, but it also saturates the fantasy potential of the offensive players specifically.
Indeed it does. So officially, Wayne, no. Yes, you do it. And go
taking Dalvin and Amari. Yep.
Only if it's going to solidify you as a championship contender. Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah, it'd be a no for me either way. So a whole lot of it's up to you, bro, on that one.
Well, Goni Law, if this makes you for sure a top 3 team, then I think Goni says do it.
Yep.
Fair enough. Physical ad 7591, 14 team Superflex. Alec Pierce for 2:23 seconds.
I don't think so.
They're late seconds.
No, negative.
Oh no, not for late.
He's trying to get. Oh, he's giving Alec Pierce. Yeah, to get two lates. No, we holding Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Alec Pierce. He's done well so far, and you're basically with 2 late 2s. You're looking for Alec Pierce in the next draft.
Totally agree.
It's not going to get much better than Alec Pierce from that spot unless you hit the lottery.
In Alec Pierce's
Totally agree.
Alec Pierce's situation
Vic,
cannot get any worse.
All right. Jet 888. 12 team Superflex PPR. Wayne, I'm going to go with you on this one. Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, or Kamara. That's side A. Side B, Jetta and Fournette.
In a dynasty?
Dynasty. Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Kamara, Jetta and Fournette. Which side and why? Hey, while you guys think about it, this is a pretty easy call for me. I'm taking Tyreek and Garrett Wilson, and I feel like that's an unthinkable. But Mike McDonald's got those boys playing in Miami, man. I mean, they're supporting 2 wide receiver ones right now. Tyreek looks unbelievable. Garrett Wilson, he's a dude, man. He might be the best receiver in the class. He's getting all the targets from Zach Wilson, which is a miracle. Give me Tyreek and Garrett, and I think Kamara's got a little in the tank if he stays out of jail.
Not even just wide receiver ones. It's literally 2 top 5 wide receivers and the wide receiver 1, being Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill's got years in him. Jalen Waddle's got years and years in him. They're locked into Tua, whereas Jay Jetta, we don't know. Everybody, it's no secret. I love Justin Jefferson. I think the Tyreek, Waddle, Kamara side is the way to go.
Off Kamara as fast as you can.
It's Tyreek and Garrett Wilson and Kamara. Not
Tyreek and Garrett Wilson. Yes, yeah, so sorry. I stand pat.
Send Kamara in a separate trade as fast as you can. Unless you need him to win a championship, he will be disciplined by. Mark my words. I'll put a doink on it right now. If anyone doesn't believe it, he will face discipline from the NFL.
Get you a 1. Get you a 1 and 2 for him real quick.
Man,
definitely. Comfortable Key 890. 10 team Superflex half PPR. I'll go with you. A 2023 third round and Greg Dulcich for Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, I'll do it for that. A third is nothing, and it's a tight end, and it's 10 team. Yeah, that's fine. I like the upside of Jahan Dotson more than I do for Greg Dulcich.
Same. Wayne, the resident Jahan Dotson hater on the podcast.
Also, Russell Wilson, for his entire career, has never had a tight end shine, ever. He just doesn't throw it to the tight ends like that to make them, upper echelon type guys.
Yeah. Stan Halen, bro, 420. Wayne, this is right up your alley here. 12 team Superflex, PPR, 3 wide receiver. Matt Stafford or Dameon Pierce?
I would have to see. Does he give any sort of roster construction? Oh man,
Matt Stafford isn't going to be his starter. It's probably his 2 or his 3. It'd have to be.
Yeah, but the 2. It's my first year in a super flex, and that second quarterback makes or breaks you. I'm learning.
Second quarterback is big time. Even just having two healthy quarterbacks is big time.
If Matt Stafford is your second quarterback, do it. If he's your third, wait.
He has Stafford. He's getting Pierce.
Okay. If Stafford is your third quarterback, trade for Pierce. If Stafford is actively starting in your second quarterback slot, do not do it.
Gone.
Send it. Send it. If Matt Stafford is starting in your second quarterback spot, you're losing. He's just not having a good year.
That's
He's
not
old.
true.
He's not good, bro. He's not good.
Come
on, dude. He just signed a contract. He's going to be a viable fantasy quarterback in Superflex formats for years to come.
Oh, you know who else signed a contract? Russell Wilson. He's not a viable fantasy option this year. Hopefully
He's not starting in 2 quarterback leagues.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't be.
He probably is.
Matt Stafford is the QB 22, which is like it's top 24. So I guess that's fine. But
I guess the math checks out. That's exactly what it is.
But going. What about
and Russell Wilson's 21? I'd rather have Dameon Pierce over one of the worst quarterbacks you can possibly start in that spot. Give me the QB 25 over the QB 22.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Doink for the rest of the year. Stafford outscores Pierce.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's what you're doing in a super flex. You're taking out a quarterback and putting in a running back.
Moron. If he has 3 quarterbacks, he can just slot in that other guy.
I said if Stafford is his third, then do the trade. I said if Stafford is your second, don't do the trade. You're saying send it regardless.
If Stafford's his second, he should do the trade still. And just
okay, and I'm saying
quarterback.
Absolutely not. If he's the second. So what you're saying is Dameon Pierce is more important than Stafford in his second quarterback slot. And I'm saying, ain't no way. You're losing more points going to Pierce outside of Stafford in the quarterback slot at number 2.
See, you're misunderstanding. I'm not saying play Pierce in that quarterback slot as the super flex. I'm saying
I get it.
Play the third.
But what if he has to because he doesn't have another quarterback? What if that's his option?
Then he obviously shouldn't be trying to make the trade. I feel like this is common knowledge.
I literally said if
2 quarterbacks, why would you do that?
I'm pretty sure we were very clear. If Stafford is your third quarterback, send it. If he's your only other quarterback, your number 2, don't send it. You need a quarterback in your second spot.
Okay. I thought you were referring to him being your second best quarterback.
It's the
Does
same
that make
thing.
sense? 3 quarterbacks, but if Matt Stafford is your second best quarterback, you would keep him. Whereas if there was 3 quarterbacks and Matt Stafford was my second best quarterback out of 3,
no,
I would send him.
If you are rostering 3 starting quarterbacks,
there we go.
Then send it. If you are only rostering 2 quarterbacks, then do not send it. But if there are 3 starting, if it's Davis Mills, if you have Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, and Davis Mills, send Matt Stafford. If you have Joe Burrow, Sam Ehlinger, and Matt Stafford, send it. But if you only have Matt Stafford and one other quarterback, do not send Matt Stafford. Are we in agreement on that?
This is literally the basis of Wayne and I's friendship. We will argue, and we're arguing about the same exact point. Just going. Yeah, we're in agreement. Good, sir. Tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap.
You're a genius. You're so smart at this fantasy
You're
football,
smart, dude.
man.
No, you're smart.
Dude, let's go.
You're so pretty, dude. You're the prettiest.
You're the best, man. I'm jealous of that beard.
Shut up, Begley, moron.
Yeah, get out of here.
Like I have to wipe my computer screen off. It's covered. McHittem Jr. Superflex Wayne 12 team 6-point passing touchdown.
Ooh.
Justin Herbert, AJ Dillon for Greg Dulcich and 3 top 5 picks in 23.
Send it. Send it. 3 top 5 picks. Send that thing, boy.
Yeah.
So in a super flex, he's probably drafting at least one QB right in the top 5, probably maybe even 2.
I do too. You want to make sure that you got a long-term guy to replace Herbert. Herbert's having a down year too. He's not playing great. He's not playing bad, but he's not playing up to what people thought he was going to be.
He's not playing as the QB3 that he was expected to be.
It's probably
the overall QB3.
I would take 2 quarterbacks. I would probably take I'd probably avoid CJ Stroud. Me and Goni had this conversation. Ohio State quarterbacks just aren't super successful. I'd probably take Bryce Young and Homer, Will Levis.
Yeah, that's what
I'm going Tanner McKee, man. I can't do Levis.
That's fine. That's fine. I'd just avoid CJ Stroud just because he's an Ohio State guy, and and then I'd take my other pick and snag a running back.
I mean,
I like it.
Yeah, I'd have to see who's there, but it'd be very appealing.
And just if you got to take a running back first, if you're the second, fourth, and fifth, Will Levis and McKee are for me interchangeable.
You'll get a quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get 2 quarterbacks pretty easily. You might pass up on Bryce Young to get a running back, and I'd be okay with McKee and Levis.
Bijan Robinson, the prize gem.
The prize jewel. Loving Sports, 12-team Superflex PPR gone. Late 23-1 and a late 23 second is what he's giving up to go get Derrick Henry. Right now, he's got Nick Chubb, Swift, and Breece Hall.
Do it. That's you pushing all your chips in right there. You're going for a championship. Breece Hall and who else did he say? Swift, right?
And Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb's carrying right now. That's probably what's keeping you in contention. But Breece Hall's gone for the year. Swift, I have no idea. I have no idea what he's going to do or how babied he's going to be for the rest of the year. Plus, you have Jamal Williams just balling out right now, absolutely balling out. It's probably a 50-50 split the rest of the way, regardless. Yeah, I'd push all the chips in and go for that championship, man. Derrick Henry's at least got it for this year.
Wayne,
I agree. Yeah, D Swift kind of scares me because Jamal Williams was like a goal line vulture at the beginning of the year, and now he's like RB1 vulture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Puzzled thinking. What is Breece Hall worth?
Definitely a first plus. I mean, probably, I'd say a high-end RB2 plus. Oh, it'd have to be a young one, too, to be honest with you.
A first in Brian Robinson, I think.
I wouldn't do that, though, if I'm a Breece Hall owner.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not high on Brian Robinson, though. That's just me.
Okay.
Would you do Taylor or Breece Hall in a dynasty? If you're drafting.
Man, that's a rough one. Because I'm super down on Jonathan Taylor right now, and as much as we hate on the Jets and say that they're a terrible team with a terrible offense, he was thriving in this terrible offense. Jonathan Taylor is not. Makes me want to lean Breece Hall, as bad as it sounds.
Let's just zoom out and let's just look at this year, man. It sounds disgusting, but Breece Hall. Say with some confidence, man. Like we're thinking about last year too much. I mean, we got to be in the present. Fall offs happen.
Yep.
6 weeks in after Peyton Hillis got the Madden cover, people were probably still like, no, we got. I'm not saying we're witnessing a Peyton Hillis fall off, but
David Johnson.
We're 9 weeks in. I mean, we're 9 weeks into this season, and he hasn't done anything yet. Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think a first and Etienne or Damian Pierce is what I'm looking for if I'm a Brees owner.
Same, but that's pricey too,
That's
man.
overpay for Brees. I think
Yeah,
ETN's
that's I don't know. I wouldn't be able to pay that for Brees. Like, I'd rather keep ETN, and I'll be happy with that. Pierce, I might send a second with Pierce to try and go get Brees Hall. And I mean, I'm with you on. I love Damian Pierce.
Yeah, love him. Just a couple more here, and we'll wrap this up. Zvander 1. Give Pittman and Brian Robinson. Get Hopkins and Kittle. 12-team PPR.
Which Robinson?
Brian.
Okay.
It's
Say
a
that again?
definite now move, but is it enough value? Michael Pittman and Brian Robinson is what we're giving. We're getting Hopkins and Kittle. Is that enough value? Obviously, win now mode.
No, I don't think so.
I think regardless of win now or not, I don't think you're getting enough.
What evens the trade out? A second?
It's kind of like a weird spot because I feel like a first would tip the scales too far one way, and I feel like a second isn't enough.
What about a Ezekiel Elliott?
If that's your thing.
That's not my thing. I'm just trying to get a good value. I'm trying to help out Zvander 1 here.
I feel like this is just one of those trades that's just somebody's going to have to take an L. You know what I mean?
My only thing for, like, I understand the win now mode, but Kittle's not that dude anymore. He's really not. Like, he doesn't play half the time, and he doesn't put up numbers the other half of the time when he does play. So, I mean, he's just not one of those elite tight ends, even when he's on the field. So that's what makes it rough. And then you just have DeAndre Hopkins is phenomenal. He's just aging. He's 30, man. I don't want to bank on a 30-year-old wide receiver down the road after this year, because I think he's going to be fine for the rest of the season for sure. So that's why I'm hung up on it, to be honest with you as well.
George Kittle's just too good at blocking. And now that they got Christian McCaffrey, these little out routes are going to him now. And George Kittle's just an elite tight end blocker. So it sucks, but he's being utilized more in the blocking game. And from George Kittle's perspective, if I'm used to being a stud tight end, you know, getting these balls thrown my way, and now I'm relegated to mainly blocking, if my ankle's kind of sore, I'm probably just going to sit a game out.
He ain't like that, though. George Kittle's such a good dude, man. He's a great teammate.
Yeah. I get that, but at the same time, his role, the glory role for him has been cut in half. That has a way of making you a less great teammate.
Only if you lose. If you're winning, it's all good.
Hold the doors, Vander 1. Love and Sports, he's back again for question number 2. TJ Hawkinson or Alan Lazard? Here's his roster makeup. He's got Njoku and Dulcich at tight end already. His wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Higgins, Lockett, and Deontay Johnson.
I would probably just keep Alan Lazard. I'd rather have Alan Lazard, I think,
He's
in that.
trading for Alan Lazard. He's got Hawk.
Okay, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would probably do that. I'd probably do that. And Njoku was good, man. Before he went out, Njoku was very good. I'd ride him out for the rest of the season. They paid him a bunch of money. He's gonna be part of the long-term future for them. And then you got Deshaun Watson coming back. TJ Hawkinson. You never know. You never know with him, man. So, plus Alan Lazard is just one of those guys where even though it sounds like he's got some good tight ends, he's just one of them guys that you can throw in there on a favorable matchup. He just had a good game this past week. He had 87 yards and a touchdown, threw in some receptions, and Romeo Dobbs is going to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks. So
Yeah.
it just throws more targets his way.
Wayne?
It's harder for me to call this one. Hawkinson, I mean, look what he did. Like his first game with the Vikings, what did he get, like 17 fantasy points?
15, I think.
did he put up? He put up similar to what Lazard did, and Lazard needed that with a Dobbs injury, and Watson was out too, right?
No, Watson played.
Watson's been hurt though, so Lazard's success has been off the back of a lot of injuries, and this Packers offense is scaring me, man. The worst defense in the NFL just stymied them. And now you're possibly, if you're looking at this from a dynasty perspective, you're possibly looking at quarterback issues from here on out. And on top of that, you have Tunyon, Dobbs, and Watson that you're having to compete with, and they have draft capital and you don't.
He's not competing with Dobbs.
Give me. I'm with Wayne. Give me the talent here going. I think Hawkinson's a much better talent. I'm not sold on Lazard's talent. I think he's a product of his situation.
Is he really the more talent, though? Like, I feel like ever since he got drafted, he's not lived up to the hype. I feel like that's still what it drives him so high. I know the positional scarcity and whatnot, but he got drafted like, fourth overall or something. He got drafted super high, but he's got one tight end one season. I mean, his 723 yards is his max. 6 touchdowns is the highest he's ever done as well. I mean,
but this is the first time he's been on a good offense.
What's that?
This is his first time he's been on a good offense.
That's still a poor excuse, though. He was the only option in the receiving game for years. For the years that he'd been there. I mean, Amon-Ra showed up and showed out when they, quote, weren't on a good offense last year.
I just know that Lazard's situation is getting worse and Hawkinson's situation is getting better.
I like your logic going. I agree with you. Njoku's a dude. I think you can roll with him. Mm-hmm. I think you get more value than Allen Lazard here with Hawkinson.
Okay. I can agree with you on that as well.
I mean, like you said, with tight end scarcity, somebody's going to be in a market for a tight end in a dynasty. And he's 25. He's a baby.
Yes, and the name value.
That's fair.
I mean, he's got name value.
That's fair. I'd go with that. Yeah. That's actually perfect, Goni or Begley. In that, I agree with Goni in that Njoku is good going forward. He's was down and out after Baker Mayfield hung him out to dry in a pass up the middle, and he got concussed into next year. He's finally, I think his brain has re-solidified. And I agree with Goni. He's going to be solid. But I think Begley makes an outstanding point in that you can get better than Lazard.
Yeah. Which, did you see, speaking of Baker Mayfield, he's benched again? They're going back to P.J. Walker to start the next
That's
game.
crazy because he came in, he threw 2 tutties.
He did. And
he probably walked out of the locker room like Conor McGregor walking, boy, like, I'm back.
Dude, one of them, he threw a bullet in between 2 defenders. Like, it was a phenomenal throw. And they were like, hey, man, it wasn't good enough. We're still getting crushed by like 30 points. Go ahead and get ready to play backup next week, man.
Yeah. Hey, Terrace Marshall might end up being a great taxi squad stash. He looks good.
Or even for redraft, honestly. He might be a good waiver pickup if he's still out there.
He looks great.
Right.
Pice Nice, Wayne, Superflex, PPR, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Rachaad White? I think this is a good one.
Is he winning now?
No other info, brother.
If you're winning now, you can't do it. But Jimmy Garoppolo's value is, I don't know. What do y'all think? Jimmy Garoppolo gets moved this year, right?
Who knows?
Next year.
Maybe, but I feel like you have to go Jimmy either way. Rachaad White is nothing.
Yeah.
Rachaad White is trash. They're probably going to draft another running back anyways this year in like the 4th
Bucs
or 5th
way,
round.
dude.
The Bucs will.
I guarantee it'll be the 3rd round as well.
Wayne, if you would go to either of the super flexes, well, we have 1 super flex and 1 2 quarterback league that we're in together. If we go to the waiver wire right now How many quarterbacks that are starting will you find on either waiver wire?
Not a single one.
Not one. Just having that in the back pocket. Jimmy G may or may not start next year. That's fine. I mean, you can choose to drop him next year if you want, or you can hang on to him, wait to see if he signs. It's just having that quarterback in a super flex to be able to play is more valuable than anything Rachaad White will ever. He could start every game for the rest of the season. Probably wouldn't play him once.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. Go with quarterback 9 times out of 10 in super flex situations like this. Last two. Megamind Mountain Money. 12 team super flex half PPR. Going Stafford and Swift or AJ Brown?
Man, that's playing on my newfound hatred for DeAndre Swift. I mean, that being said, I feel like you still have to keep Stafford and Swift, honestly. Just super flex, man. It's a quarterback to have there. Hopefully DeAndre Swift comes back around. He's still very young. He's only 23 years old. It's not the end of the road. Jamal Williams, I looked into it because I've had Swift in 2 leagues this year. I kind of got cold feet playing around with him, too much. He's not playing. He's not playing. He comes back. He gets 2 carries. He gets 5 carries this past week. So I shipped him off. And got a king's ransom back, in my opinion. But I looked into it.
You did get a king's ransom.
Before trying to ship him off in both leagues, and Jamal Williams is an unrestricted free agent after this year. Does he come back to the Lions? I don't know, but I know that Swift will be back next year. He's going to start the season healthy, so he'll give you at least 3 or 4 solid games before something happens.
The Lions done messed up, man. They done goofed. They made it to where they can't afford Jamal Williams next year.
Yeah, pretty much.
He looks good, man.
He does.
He looks really good. Okay, sorry. Hang on one sec here. My thing kind of crashed out.
Who would you take in that one, Wayne and Beggs?
In what one?
That trade right there, Stafford and Swift, or
Stafford
AJ
Swift. Stafford Swift.
Beggs, you feel the same?
While he's looking up the stuff, tell him what you got for DeAndre Swift, because that was you got a king's ransom.
We had so it's a super flex league. It's a startup this year. Wayne and I are in 12-team half-point PPR super flex. My quarterbacks that I have are Justin Herbert's, Kirk Cousins. Picked up Trey Lance. He was on waivers. We have 300 fab. I spent 250, and not a single person even dropped $1 on him. So I was completely amazed at that. And Marcus Mariota. So I went after, I always try at this time of year, find all the 4-4 teams or weaker and try and get something good out of them because everyone wants to make the playoffs, right? So I send Mariota because his quarterbacks are trash, DeAndre Swift, and a first-round pick next year, and I got Jamar Chase and Breece Hall.
Come on.
Very happy with it. Very happy with it.
I mean, you clobbered that guy. You absolutely beat him unconscious and stole his wallet from him.
He feels great about it, and I do too, man.
If it was any other league, this is a league with a bunch of Goni's boys.
Don't know any of them.
If it was any other league, I would have trashed Goni, but Goni invited me to the league this year, allowed me to come into it, so I gave him a pass on it.
Yes, my brother-in-law's league, his neighbors, his friends. So
I'm the new guy. I didn't want to clobber anybody in the chat, so I just tip it a cap to Goni. You fleece somebody, you got it, and left it alone.
Wayne, haven't you noticed this? When we get into leagues with Goni, he likes to go ahead and just pick on all the weak links, get all their good players, and then we can start playing fantasy football. It's like you're playing like NBA 2K or Madden, and he has to put like all the all-stars on his roster, and you get all the backups.
Well, it's like we all choose a team. Like we'll all choose a team, and then by the time we play Goni, he's managed to get Giannis off of the Bucks for a couple of his bench guys, and then he went and traded for.
He's got Durant out there, Steph.
But at the same time, like, he managed to also keep all his assets. So he did like a weird, like, he traded coaches, and he traded like the water boy, and traded
one of the
five
major rules of fantasy football. Know your opponents. You definitely have to know your opponents. You know who you're going to be able to come out with, some fleecage. In this instance, I literally put out trades to, I don't know any of these guys except for my brother-in-law, Wayne, and Woodhall, who's actually in there as well.
Of course.
I put out trades to all the 4-4 or worse teams, and he accepted first, man. Kudos.
He traded 5 cheerleaders for Breece Hall, man.
You have to know your opponents conveniently when Goni's the only one who knows any of these people. Yeah, of course you know them all. Guys,
except my brother-in-law.
Of course you know them all. Man. We don't know any of them, so we can't fleece anybody, but you sure can.
Sure you can. You had a couple fleecings this year already in Lexus.
Give Woodhall my finest. Patriots 96, full PPR. Amari Cooper or DJ Moore?
Amari Cooper.
Ooh.
What?
I'm taking DJ Moore easy here.
This is Dynasty, correct?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
DJ Moore.
Give me DJ Moore.
Give me talent. I know his situation sucks, but it'll get better.
Talent and youth.
Yeah. For sure. All right, boys. That's it.
That'll do.
Gentlemen, DFS barn burners for MVP.
Ooh-ha.
Can't believe I lost that. No, only 40.